दिए का बात बताता हूँ। ठीक।
हम हैं वो आईना जिसे देख कर दिल संवरता है।
अब भारत को भरोसा है उन पर जो चूकते नहीं, जो थकते नहीं और जो हारते नहीं। जिन्हें साहस से परिणाम बदलना आता है, आज के देश को कल विकसित बनाना आता है। कोशिशों की तस्वीर में जीत का रंग भरने वालों, ऐसे ही विजेताओं के विजय का उत्सव है प्राइम मिनिस्टर्स अवार्ड्स फॉर एक्सीलेंस इन पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन।
इस भरोसे का बहुत ठोस कारण है आज का भारत आने वाले 25 साल की इस 21वीं शताब्दी के लॉन्ग टर्म विजन को ध्यान में रखते हुए
एक प्रेजेंटेशन 2 मिनट चलाना है, देखना है कि फीड जा रही है दिल्ली में कि नहीं।
पर काम कर रहा है।
अब भारत को भरोसा है होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट के इन विजेताओं पर, जो सिर्फ मिसाल ही नहीं, हर अंधेरे को मिटाने वाली मशाल बने।
हम हैं वो आईना जिसे देख कर
वो यार यहाँ पर
दिल संवरता है।
हमने कभी जिंदगी में सोचा ही नहीं था हम ऐसे मकान में रह सकते। अब हमारा दिल पता है
पीएम सूर्य ग्रह मुफ्त बिजली योजना में सोलर लगाने के बाद एक तो लाइट का बिल खत्म हो गया है और ये फ्यूचर जनरेशन के लिए भी बहुत जरूरी है।
তেতিয়া মই PM চৌধুৰীৰ লোনটো ল'লোঁ, লোৱাৰ পিছত মই বস্তুখিনি ভাল বস্তু আনিছোঁ, আপোনাৰ গ্ৰাহকবোৰ বহুত বাঢ়িছে।
अब भारत को भरोसा है तरक्की की नई पहुंच पर, नई उन्नति पर, नई ऊंचाइयों पर, जिसकी
गिफ्ट क्या कर रहे हैं, क्या करते हैं।
आईना जिसे देख कर देश संवरता है।
अब भारत को भरोसा है उन पर जो चूकते नहीं, जो थकते नहीं और जो हारते नहीं। जिन्हें साहस से परिणाम बदलना आता है। आज के देश को कल विकसित बनाना आता है। कोशिशों की तस्वीर में जीत का रंग भरने वाले ऐसे ही विजेताओं के विजय का उत्सव है। प्राइम मिनिस्टर्स अवार्ड्स फॉर एक्सीलेंस इन पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन।
इस भरोसे का बहुत ठोस कारण है आज का भारत आने वाले 25 साल की इस 21वीं शताब्दी के लॉन्ग टर्म विजन को ध्यान में रखते हुए एक के बाद एक कदम उठा रहा है, व्यापक स्तर पर काम कर रहा है।
अब भारत को भरोसा है होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट के इन विजेताओं पर, जो सिर्फ मिसाल ही नहीं, हर अंधेरे को मिटाने वाली मशाल बने।
हम हैं वो
Good morning and good day to all of you. We are going to begin the inaugural proceedings of this conference shortly, and I request all of the participants to kindly be seated. And those who are sitting at the back, they can, come forward. Please come forward, those who are sitting at the back of the hall. We are going to shortly begin with the formal proceedings of this conference, please. I request everyone to be seated, please, and maintain silence, and let us be immobile for a while and switch off our mobile phones or keep them on the silent mode, please. I request again all of you to be seated, please. Take your seats, please. यहाँ से करनी है। नहीं वो उन्होंने चेंज कर दिया है। So let us all of us take our seats, please. Those who are sitting at the back, please take your seats. We are shortly going to start with the proceedings of this conference. Please take your seats. Those who are sitting at the back chairs, they can come forward. Please, I request everyone sitting in the on the back chairs, please come forward. In fact, we are waiting for the Secretary to Government of India, Srimati Rachna Shahji, to join us shortly, and then we'll start the proceedings at 10:30. So kindly be seated. And I request all the participants to keep their cell phones on the silent mode. Let us be immobile for some time. Please be seated. We are going to start the proceedings of this national conference right now. I request everyone to be seated, please. Everyone to be seated. We are going to start right now. So good morning and good day to all of you. Let's begin the formal proceedings of this national conference on holistic development of districts, transforming governance for Viksit Bharat with an inspiring quote, तरक्की याफ्ता भारत एक ख्वाब नहीं, तरक्की याफ्ता भारत एक ख्वाब नहीं, एक अहद है, जो मेहनत की रोशनी, इत्तेहाद की ताकत और ईमान की हरारत से रोशन होता है. meaning that developed India is not just a dream, it's a pledge illuminated by hard work, strengthened by unity, and fueled by faith. At the very outset, on behalf of the General Administration Department, Government of Jammu and Kashmir, I, Reva Sharma, Professor and Head Academics at J&K IMPAD, on behalf of Madam Rehana Batul, Director General IMPAD, extend a very warm and cordial welcome to all of you, especially the DRPG team, the Prime Minister's awardee officers, administrative secretaries, senior officers from the UT of Jammu and Kashmir, and all the learned delegates from various states and union territories of India. As all of you are aware, that Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, and Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, Government of India, in collaboration with the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, is organizing this one-day national conference with a focus on the pioneering development works, innovations and best practices in various sectors for which the Prime Minister's Awards for Excellence in Public Administration have been awarded to district magistrates all over India. These awards are given in the three major categories: the holistic development of districts, the aspirational block program, and innovations, center and state government organizations. We all know that the very best practice is not merely an acknowledgement of success, but a reflection of our collective commitment towards building Viksit Bharat. In this national conference, learner delegates and Prime Minister's awardees from various states and union territories are participating to deliberate on various innovative practices and development works in their respective regions. The underlying objective of this conference is to bring the national and the state level organizations on the same platform to share best practices in diverse areas for cross-learning and replication. There will be 3 sessions which are lined up in this conference. The first session will be devoted to Prime Minister awarded initiatives for 2023-24 in the multiple category. The first session will be chaired by Shri Puneet Yadav ji, Additional Secretary DRPG, Government of India. And, okay. Since the Secretary to Government of India, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Srimati Ratna Shah ji has arrived, and I, Madam, cordially welcome you on behalf of the Government of Jammu and Kashmir to this conference, ma'am. There will be 3 sessions which are lined up in this conference. The first session will be devoted to the Prime Minister's awarded initiatives 2023-24 in the multiple categories, and this session will be chaired by Shri Puneet Yadav ji, Additional Secretary DRPG, Government of India. The Prime Minister awarded officers from Andhra Pradesh, Tripura and Odisha will be making presentations in this session. The next session will be followed by the inaugural session, and after this session, another session will be devoted to the multiple category PM awarded initiatives to be chaired by Srimati Sarita Chauhan, Additional Secretary DRPG, Government of India, and the Prime Minister awardees from Nalbari, Assam, Andhra Pradesh will be making presentation in this session. The third session will be devoted to the best practices of the UT of Jammu and Kashmir, to be chaired by Srimati Sarita Chauhan, Additional Secretary DRPG, Government of India, and the officers from Jammu and Kashmir will be making presentations on best practices in HADP, rethinking how government works for the farmers, real-time tracking and surveillance of Vaishno Devi Yatra through RFID technology and CCTV, implementation of Mission Yuva in J&K, and the e-office implementation. These are the best practices of Jammu which will be showcased during this conference. Now, let us, ladies and gentlemen, begin with the first technical session of this national conference. The session will be chaired by Shri Puneet Yadav ji, Additional Secretary DRPG, and I take this opportunity of inviting him on the dais, please. And it's my pleasure, in fact, to invite him here. And it is under his able guidance that all the e-governance and multiple public grievance reforms in the department are being implemented. Sir, I cordially welcome you on the dais, please. I also take this opportunity to invite Shri Prasanna Venkatesh, Secretary Andhra Pradesh, Social Welfare Residential Education Institution. He has been awarded for his exemplary governance and innovative public service initiative for inclusive and holistic development of district, especially in the social initiative improving health and welfare outcomes as district collector of Iluru district, Andhra Pradesh. May I request you, sir, to kindly be on the dais, please? Okay. I also will welcome Shri Tarit Kanti Chakma, serving as the CEO of the Tripura Rural Livelihood Mission and the then district magistrate and collector of Gomti district in Tripura. He has been awarded for excellence in public administration at the Civil Service Day for driving innovation and citizen-centric governance, especially implementing welfare schemes, wide coverage of vaccination, healthcare, housing, social security. And may I request you, sir, to kindly take the seat, please. I also invite Shri V. Kirti Vasan, the Collector and District Magistrate of Koraput district in Odisha, who has received the Prime Minister's Award for Excellence in Public Administration for effective implementation of 11 major centrally sponsored schemes, especially within the tribal communities and of the district. And I request, sir, to kindly take the seat on the dais, please. With this introduction, please, now I request the chairman of the session, Shri Puneet Yadav ji, to initiate the deliberations of the session, please. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, and let me also take this opportunity to invite two more speakers on the dais. So I'll request Dr. Varnali Dekat. She is Director in the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, Government of India, and she is a Prime Minister awardee for the year 2023. And it's my pleasure to invite Ms. Ayushi Sudan, District Collector, Samba of our own Jammu and Kashmir, and she is an awardee for the year 2024. So at the outset, let me thank the government of Jammu and Kashmir for hosting this event at a very short notice, and all the participants who have come to attend this National Governance Conference. It's our privilege to welcome Madam Rachna Shah ji. She is Secretary DOPT, DRPG and DOPPW, Government of India. And despite holding so many important portfolios, ma'am has taken her time out to attend this conference. Ma'am, that's a privilege. Thank you so much. And to begin with, we have a small movie which shows the background of what DRPG does and how our participants and the awardees, they have done tremendous work in the field of Prime Minister Awards and what is happening in the field. Just to set the tone of the conference, I'll request kindly play the PMA awarded project film for the year 2024. Can you start the film, please?
हम है वो आईना जिसे देख कर देश संवरता है।
अब भारत को भरोसा है उन पर जो चूकते नहीं, जो थकते नहीं और जो हारते नहीं। जिन्हें साहस से परिणाम बदलना आता है। आज के देश को कल विकसित बनाना आता है। कोशिशों की तस्वीर में जीत का रंग भरने वाले ऐसे ही विजेताओं के विजय का उत्सव है प्राइम मिनिस्टर्स अवार्ड्स फॉर एक्सीलेंस इन पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन।
इस भरोसे का बहुत ठोस कारण है आज का भारत आने वाले 25 साल की इस 21वीं शताब्दी के लॉन्ग टर्म विजन को ध्यान में रखते हुए एक के बाद एक कदम उठा रहा है, व्यापक स्तर पर काम कर रहा है।
अब भारत को भरोसा है होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट के इन विजेताओं पर, जो सिर्फ मिसाल ही नहीं, हर अंधेरे को मिटाने वाली मशाल बने।
हम है वो आईना जिसे देख कर देश संवरता है।
हमने कभी जिंदगी में सोचा ही नहीं था हम ऐसे मकान में रह सकेंगे। अब हमारा भी एक पता है।
पीएम सूर्यग्रह मुफ्त बिजली योजना में सोलर लगाने के बाद एक तो लाइट का बिल खत्म हो गया है और ये फ्यूचर जनरेशन के लिए भी बहुत जरूरी है।
যেতিয়া মই PM চৌধুৰী লোনটো ললো, লোৱাৰ পিছত মই বস্তুখিনি ভাল বস্তু আনিছো, আপোনাৰ গ্ৰাহকবোৰ বহুত বাঢ়িছে।
अब भारत को भरोसा है तरक्की की नई पहुंच पर, नई उन्नति पर, नई ऊंचाइयों पर, जिसकी कहानी कह रहे हैं एस्पिरेशनल ब्लॉक्स प्रोग्राम के विजेता।
है वो रोशनी जिसे ओढ़ कर देश चमकता है।
हमारे स्कूल में जब से ICT लैब आया है तो हमें कंप्यूटर चलाना बहुत अच्छे से आ गया है और मैं अब ऑनलाइन और ऑफलाइन के सभी काम आराम से कर लेती हूँ।
ജലജീവൻ പദ്ധതി പ്രകാരം ഇപ്പോൾ എല്ലാവർക്കും വെള്ളം ലഭിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്। ഇപ്പോൾ എല്ലാവരുടെ കാര്യം ഭംഗിയായി നടക്കുന്നു।
भारत को अब भरोसा है इनोवेशन पर, जिसकी आभा एक नई आशा को नया रूप देती है, जो संभावनाओं को हर सरहद से आजाद करती है, जिसके उदाहरण हैं हमारे विजेता।
हमारे जागने का हौसला है ये, हमारी जीत की मंजिल गिराया है।
পোষণ ট্যাগারের মধ্যে আমাদের একটাই লক্ষ্য আছে, কোনো মা এবং শিশু যাতে ছোটে না যায়।
विश्वकर्मा स्कीम के जरिए हमारा हुनर ही हमारा सहारा बन गया।
শিক্ষা সেতু এপৰ দ্বাৰা ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীসকলৰ শৈক্ষিক নথিপত্ৰসমূহ এতিয়া ডিজিটেলি সংৰক্ষণ কৰাটো বহুত সহজ হৈ পৰিছে।
ब्रेल से संबंधित मेरी जो भी समस्या होती है मैं सुगम्य पुस्तकालय में आके अपनी समस्या का समाधान करती हूँ।
अब भारत को भरोसा है इसे विकसित बनाने को, इसकी मिट्टी से किए हमारे वादों पर कि हम वो बीज बो कर रहेंगे, हम वो पेड़ उगा कर रहेंगे कि जिसकी डाली पर बैठने सोने की चिड़िया लौट आएगी।
हम हैं पतवार जिसे थामे वो तूफान से लड़ता है। हम हैं वो रोशनी जिसे ओढ़ कर देश चमकता है। हम हैं वो आईना जिसे देख कर देश संवरता है।
Brief movie which sets the tone of this conference. I will like to show a brief presentation to all of you. इससे आपको एक कॉन्टेक्स्ट बनेगा कि एस DRPG जो हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का मंतव्य है, रिफॉर्म, परफॉर्म एंड ट्रांसफॉर्म, इस मोटो के अंतर्गत कैसे हम लोग थ्रू रिफॉर्म्स देश में इनोवेशन को, तरक्की को ड्राइव करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। इसको लेकर के अगर इस प्रेजेंटेशन को थोड़ा सा लोड कर सकते हैं तो आई विल बी थैंकफुल. कैन यू कनेक्ट दिस PPT from here? Thank you. So basically DRPG handles three main verticals of Government of India, जिसमें हम लोग अपने जैसा कि नाम बताता है एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव रिफॉर्म्स, पब्लिक ग्रीवेंसेस, नागरिक शिकायतों को लेकर के काम करते हैं, और ई गवर्नेंस हमारा थर्ड पिलर है जिसमें हम लोग काफ़ी इनिशिएटिव नॉर्म्स वगैरह करते हैं, जिसको मैं थोड़ा ब्रीफली आप लोगों को बताना चाहूँगा. प्राइम मिनिस्टर अवार्ड्स फॉर एक्सीलेंस जैसा कि नाम बताता है, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री खुद अपने हाथ से देते हैं सिविल सर्विसेज डे ऑन 21st of April every year. As civil servants, we all work as faithless people round the year, 365 days, 24/7. कभी भी फ़ोन कॉल आता है, ड्यूटी पे जाना पड़ता है. लेकिन हाउ टू रिकॉग्नाइज दिस इनोवेशन, हाउ टू रिकॉग्नाइज दिस हार्ड वर्क, इसको लेकर के एक स्कीम कॉन्सेप्चुलाइज की गई थी, और ये 2006 से चल रही है. लेकिन जो इसमें ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हुए हैं उनको भी मैं यात्रा को थोड़ा सा बताऊंगा. इसके मेनली 6 ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं जिसमें हमारे अवार्डीज़ ने ट्रिमेंडस काम किया है और जो आज यहाँ पे अपने आप से वो आपको बताएंगे. इसका इम्पोर्टेंस ये है कि लगभग साल में हम लोगों को 2000 से ज़्यादा नॉमिनेशंस मिलते हैं फॉर 16 अवार्ड्स ओनली. तो लेस देन 1 अवार्ड पर 100 नॉमिनेशंस इज़ गिवन. 100 सीनियर सिविल सर्वेंट्स जो अपने पूरे साल भर के प्रयासों का एक जो लोखा देखा सबमिट करते हैं, उनमें से केवल एक को सिलेक्शन होने का सौभाग्य मिलता है. और इसमें ऑलमोस्ट 90% ऑफ द डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स ऑफ भारत इंडिया दे सबमिट देयर नॉमिनेशंस. सो दिस शोज़ हाउ कॉम्पिटिटिव दिस अवार्ड इज़. ऑब्जेक्टिव इज सेम, जो अच्छा काम सिविल सर्वेंट्स कर रहे हैं, एक्सीलेंस इन पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, दैट शुड बी रिकॉग्नाइज्ड, दैट शुड बी रिफ्लेक्टेड एंड ब्रॉट फॉरवर्ड टू द सिटीजन्स ऑफ इंडिया. कैसे ये स्कीम पिछले सालों में परिवर्तित हुई है, अगर आप देखेंगे 2016, 17, 18 में there used to be 3 to 4 programs, government schemes which were covered every year. लेकिन अगर आप 2023 में आकर के देखेंगे, now the number of scheme was increased to 11 and 12. इसका मतलब क्या है कि what we saw, how thinking goes behind this whole program, कि अगर हम 3 या 4 स्कीम को हर साल सेलेक्ट करेंगे, नेक्स्ट ईयर उनको अगर छोड़ के दूसरा स्कीम को लेंगे, तो जब मोमेंटम विच वॉज बिल्ड अप दैट इज़ लॉस्ट, एंड देन द फोकस शिफ्ट्स टू द नेक्स्ट स्कीम. So the focus here is creating continuity and reaching the saturation. Every beneficiary who is entitled to get a benefit incentive from Government of India should get that. और इसके माध्यम से अगर आप देखें, we are trying to target the holistic development. When you are actually performing and focusing a lot on at a time 12 schemes of Government of India, it reflects and converts into holistic development for the citizens. तो इसके माध्यम से हम लोगों ने प्रयास किए. The second key objective which was considered is deep rooting the reforms. कैसे हम नागरिकों के पास और जाएं, कैसे ग्रास रूट पे, पंचायत लेवल पे रिफॉर्म्स को प्रोत्साहित किया जाए, कैसे वहाँ पे जो अच्छा काम किया जा रहा है उसको आइडेंटिफाई करके बाकी देश के सामने लाया जाए, और जो लेफ्ट आउट या पिछले इलाके रह गए हैं विद इन अ डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑल्सो देयर आर पॉकेट्स ऑफ अंडर डेवलपमेंट, उनको कैसे कवर किया जाए. इसके अंतर्गत नीति आयोग, PMO के संग समालोचना करके इट वॉज कंसिडर्ड दैट इट शुड ऑल्सो बी इनकॉर्पोरेटेड, एंड द एस्पिरेशनल ब्लॉक प्रोग्राम वॉज इनकॉर्पोरेटेड इन द स्कीम फ्रॉम द ईयर 2024. तीसरा जो हम लोगों का एक बहुत ही पॉपुलर कैटेगरी है विच इज़ द इनोवेशन कैटेगरी. इसमें भारत सरकार के मंत्रालय, राज्य सरकारें एंड डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स ऑल्सो पार्टिसिपेट, एंड 6 अवार्ड्स आर गिवन इन दिस कैटेगरी. So total 16 awards are conferred every year. It is a very rigorous process, ladies and gentlemen. आपको मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि इसमें it continues for more than 5 months. The whole process, it started in October this year and it will conclude somewhere towards the end of April only. तो जैसा आप समझ सकते हैं इतनी लंबी प्रक्रिया है. कलेक्टर्स, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स और हमारे गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया मिनिस्ट्रीज ऑल्सो दे वर्क ऑन देयर नॉमिनेशंस एंड सबमिट देयर नॉमिनेशन. एक एक कमेटी में अराउंड 11 to 12 जॉइंट सेक्रेटरीज टू द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया देयर, एंड दे आर सुपरवाइज्ड एंड चेयर्ड बाय अ एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी रैंक ऑफिसर. उसके बाद इसमें कॉल सेंटर से सिटीजन्स को फ़ोन किया जाता है कि आपको ये स्कीम में आपका नाम दिख रहा है द बेनिफिशियरी, डिड यू एक्चुअली गेट दैट इंसेंटिव और नॉट. तो सिटीजन फीडबैक को भी लिया जाता है. इसके अलावा फील्ड विजिट्स में ऑफिसर्स जा करके एक एक स्कीम को चेक करते हैं. उसके बाद सेक्रेटरी DRPG एक सेशन चेयर करती हैं in which she interacts with or other 8 to 10 secretaries of Government of India under the expert committee to see what actually has transformed. So it is also a review process of the government delivery mechanism, कैसे भारत सरकार की स्कीम्स काम कर रही हैं, और उसके बाद जो इनपुट्स जाते हैं, दैट इज़ ए कमिटी चेयर्ड बाय द कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी ऑफ इंडिया। इसमें आउटसाइड द गवर्नमेंट एक्सपर्ट्स भी आते हैं। तो द सीनियर मोस्ट ब्यूरोक्रेट ऑफ द एंटायर कंट्री gives 2 days of his calendar for this scheme. This shows the significance of the scheme, and then these recommendations are submitted to the Honorable Prime Minister, and if the recommendations are evaluated there also for the last time, and then the finally awardees are selected. आज इन अवार्डीज़ को आप लोग सुनेंगे। ये मैं थोड़ा सा डेटा दे रहा हूँ पिछले साल का। तो लगभग 1600 सबमिशंस थे। इन द ईयर 2025 वी एक्चुअली गॉट मोर देन 2000 नॉमिनेशंस। जस्ट टू टेल हाउ वी आर टॉकिंग ऑफ रिफॉर्म्स, अगर आप देखें हम लोग कहते हैं कि 11 स्कीम की बात कर रहे हैं, पर एक स्कीम का मैं उदाहरण देना चाहूँगा विच इज़ हर घर जल योजना। तो इट इज़ नॉट अबाउट एनरोलिंग द बेनिफिशरीज, इट इज़ नॉट अबाउट लेइंग द पाइपलाइंस। अगर आप इसके कंपोनेंट्स देखें, कितने गहराई में जा कर के इसको मॉनिटर किया जाता है, कितने % ग्राम विलेजेस को सर्टिफाइड हर घर जल, हाउ मैनी स्कीम्स हैव बीन हैंडेड ओवर टू द GP, सो इट शुड बी एक्चुअली डिलीवर्ड टू द people who are going to run this scheme. Functional tap connection होए कि नहीं, it is not only about laying of the pipelines, it should actually be that the water should reach the households. Similarly आपके वहाँ पे उसमें जो contamination है उसकी testing हुई कि नहीं हुई, सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स को नीचे ट्रेन करके उनको एम्पावर किया कि नहीं गया, वेदर द लोकल वीमेन आर एक्चुअली कैपेबल ऑफ टेस्टिंग द वाटर क्वालिटी और नॉट। इतने सारी प्रक्रिया करने के बाद उसकी रिसोर्स की जो आपने क्रिएट किया है उसकी जियो टैगिंग हुई कि नहीं। सो एंड टू एंड पूरी स्कीम की डिलीवरी को, द फोकस इज़ नॉट जस्ट ऑन एनरोलमेंट बट एंड टू एंड। तो लाइकवाइज 11 स्कीम्स आर कवर्ड अंडर दिस स्कीम। और इसमें गवर्नेंस पैरामीटर्स को कि कैसे हम लोगों का जो महकमा है या हम लोगों का जो गवर्नमेंट जो जिसे सो कॉल्ड ब्यूरोक्रेसी बोला जाता था, हाउ दे एक्चुअली रीच आउट टू द सिटीजन, अकाउंटेबिलिटी, इंक्लूसिवनेस, ऑडिट्स, थर्ड पार्टी ऑडिट्स, इन सारी चीज़ों को फोकस किया जाता है। कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग, स्किलिंग ऑफ द एम्प्लॉयज़, सिटीजन्स, क्वालिटी कंट्रोल। तो इट इज़ गोइंग इनटू द टॉप क्वालिटी परफॉर्मेंस इंडिकेटर्स एनीवेयर अक्रॉस द ग्लोब, उनको हम लोग इसमें इनकॉर्पोरेट करके अपनी स्कीम में इंटीग्रेट करते हैं। दैट इज़ द फोकस। How saturation is reached? If you see, there is a gradation of those 11 schemes. One scheme has already reached 94% saturation, while some scheme which was recently introduced is at 16%. Within 2 years अगर आप देखेंगे तो बाकी schemes में भी saturation होगा, तो which is where a continuity is being targeted and we are trying to reach out to all the schemes. तो इस बैकग्राउंड में थोड़ा सा मैं जस्ट एक चीज़ और बताना चाहूँगा कि दिस इज़ द लेवल ऑफ ईच डिस्ट्रिक्ट इज़ गेटिंग मॉनिटर्ड एंड लाइकवाइज ईच स्कीम इज़ गेटिंग सुपरवाइज्ड, और इसके माध्यम से हम लोग इसको नागरिकों के पास जा रहे हैं। कमिंग टू द एस्पिरेशनल प्रोग्राम, ये वो ब्लॉक्स थे जो कि रिलेटिवली हमारे जो डेवलपमेंट इंडिकेटर्स थे, वेदर IMMR, MMR, उसमें थोड़ा पीछे आते थे। विद इन 2 years आप देखेंगे जो जहाँ पे हमारा सैचुरेशन 10% या 12% था, नाउ दोज ब्लॉक्स हैव रीच सैचुरेशन ऑफ 85%, 90%, 95%. So we should be thankful to Niti Aayog which gave this idea and which we have incorporated here. So it is making a tremendous impact at the grassroots level. Innovation is something which we all focus on, which we all support. इसमें मैं 2-3 एग्जाम्पल देना चाहूँगा। There were some key areas which when we started working at the early stages of our career, हम लोगों को लगता था इसका शायद कोई इलाज मिलना कठिन है। आज की तारीख में ये हमारा एक अवार्डी डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स का डेटा मैं आपको दिखा रहा हूँ राजकोट का। So while they did very well in all the focus areas, this is one reflection of the rooftop solar top, जो इन्होंने चमत्कार करके दिखाया and they secured highest marks in this category. So this is how the impact is being made when the district administration, all the line department officials, they give an impetus and they give their thrust to achieving success in a particular area. This is about PM विश्वकर्मा। इसमें आपने देखा कैसे जो हमारे आर्टिजन्स हैं, हमारी जो खोई हुई स्किल्स थे, उनको रिवाइव करने के लिए हम लोग फोकस कर रहे हैं। And it is not only about the impact is not created by one intervention. If you see, it is a whole chain of activity which is monitored, ट्रेनिंग से लेकर के उनको स्किलिंग को लेकर के उसके बाद उनके प्रोडक्ट की मार्केटिंग तक का यहाँ पे प्रावधान है। When we see ultimately कैसे उनकी जो टूल किट होती है which is manufactured somewhere in a remote some other part of the country, it is delivered at their home through India Post. So multiple agencies को टाई करके, जैसे हम लोग कन्वर्जेंस का एरिया बात करते हैं, how effectively this scheme has actually worked on the convergence of multiple schemes and agencies to achieve such success is a learning process. इसी तरीके से पोषण ट्रैकर में लगभग 14 करोड़ बच्चों के पास हम लोग पहुंचने की कोशिश करते हैं। एंड ये लखपति दीदी हम लोगों ने भी जब फील्ड में देखा था, देर आर सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स ऑफ लेडीज़ हु वर वेरी मच मोटिवेटेड। वो चाहती थी हम लोग सेविंग करें, लेकिन कैसे उसको आगे बढ़ाया जाए ये वो वहाँ पे आके कहीं ना कहीं एक सीलिंग आके उनको अटका देता था, बिकॉज दे डिड नॉट नो हाउ टू कीप द रिकॉर्ड्स, कैसे उसमें सिंपल इंटरेस्ट लगाना है, कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट आना है, कैसे मेरे पास रिकवरी करनी है। इट वॉज समथिंग विच वॉज अ बिग गैप इन द उनका जो ट्रेनिंग स्किल्स वगैरह था। बाय इनकॉर्पोरेटिंग यूज़ ऑफ IT, कैसे उनको एक ऐप ने इतना सक्षम बना दिया कि आज की तारीख में वो लोन दे करके उसकी रिकवरी पूरा कर सकते हैं, विच इज़ वेयर इनोवेशन एंड IT सपोर्ट इज़ वेरी क्रिटिकल इन दिस प्रोजेक्ट। कमिंग टू शिक्षा से, तो एग्ज़ाम आपने अक्सर सुना होगा, हम लोग भी जब देखते थे कि रिपोर्ट आती थी कि क्लास 6 के बच्चों का एग्ज़ाम लिया गया पर स्किल सेट 3rd या 4th के बराबर पाया गया, और उसका इशूज़ होता था कि टीचर्स दूर दराज के इलाके में जाकर रहना पसंद कहीं कहीं नहीं करते थे। काफ़ी लोग बहुत मोटिवेटेड होते हैं, जाते भी हैं, लेकिन कैसे हाउ बाय यूज़ ऑफ IT, हाउ बाय जियो फेंसिंग द बिल्डिंग और फेशियल रिकॉग्निशन, आपने जो प्रॉक्सी बेनिफिशरीज थे या टीचर्स जो प्रॉक्सी अटेंडेंस करवाते थे, कोई और जाके उनकी जगह क्लास लेता था, उन स्किल्स को, उन गैप्स को कवर करके एक सक्सेसफुल प्रोजेक्ट बनाया। ये एक बहुत अच्छी चीज़ है। इसी तरीके से जो गवर्नमेंट एसेट्स की मॉनिटरिंग को लेकर के उसमें एनक्रोचमेंट हो जाता था, ये उत्तराखंड सरकार का एक प्रोजेक्ट था। उन्होंने सैटेलाइट इमेजरी के थ्रू और थ्रू यूज़ ऑफ आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस इसके ये लोग रीचेक करते रहते हैं कि कहाँ कहाँ पे परिवर्तन आया गवर्नमेंट के एसेट्स में, एंड दे कैन एक्चुअली डिटेक्ट इफ़ देयर इज़ एन एनक्रोचमेंट एंड दे कैन एक्चुअली चेक सच प्रैक्टिसेस। इसी तरीके से सुगम्य पुस्तकालय का आपने देखा कैसे बच्चों के हेल्प के लिए जिनके थोड़े थोड़े डेफिशिएंसीज थी उनको लेकर के इन्होंने कवर किया, एंड विद वेरी लिटिल रिसोर्सेज फ्रॉम द एग्जिस्टिंग रिसोर्सेज ओनली। या ये डिजी कक्षा विच इज़ एट द बॉर्डर ऑफ चाइना, अरुणाचल प्रदेश के एक रिमोट इलाके में इस तरह का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर DM के नेतृत्व में बनाया गया, विच इज़ वाई दिस इज़ सो मच ऑफ एफर्ट, विच इज़ सो मच ऑफ लीडरशिप विच गोज इन टू अचीविंग दिस एक्सीलेंस, एंड विच इज़ वॉट वी वॉन्ट टू डिस्कस विद यार। ये जो हम लोग की जो कॉन्फ्रेंसेज होती हैं उसका एक मेन उद्देश्य ये होता है कि हम आपको बताएं इसके बारे में, बिकॉज we know people are looking for good ideas. It gives you a tremendous information कि हम भी क्या कर सकते हैं। And with this background, let me take this opportunity to thank you all once again, especially the government of Jammu and Kashmir, which accepted our request at such a short notice. The whole conference has been organized in less than 10 days. So thank you all, and I really welcome you all, and thank you all for your presence. And आप लोग जो यहाँ से शिक्षा या कुछ भी अगर सीख करके जाते हैं, that would be our achievement. So with this, I'll close my speech, and the context is set. Now I'll invite my colleagues. They will be speaking one by one. Our moderator has already briefly introduced you, so वो मेरा थोड़ा सा काम हल्का हो गया है. So now I'll first request Shri Prasanna Venkatesh ji, and Prasanna ji is an IAS officer of 2012 batch. Prasanna, you can come over if you want to speak from here. And he is an awardee for the year 2023, and he will be telling you the transformative path which he took. And इसमें जो देखने लायक चीज़ होगी, how leadership plays a critical role. So thank you, Prasanna, and you are most welcome here, please.
Secretary ma'am, Chair Puneet sir, distinguished delegates, respected colleagues, fellow administrators, very good morning. It's a privilege to address this National Governance Conference on Holistic Development of Districts, Transforming Governments or Viksit Bharat. So as we are moving towards Viksit Bharat 2047, a core straightforward question towards us is, when are we going to move from just implementing schemes to transforming systems? So my presentation is very short, 20 slides only, 18 actually the content. I will be completing it in within 15 minutes. I wanted it to be more interactive. This is the first session in the morning, so I will make it interesting. I will not touch upon the scheme guidelines and all. I will only explain you about the initiatives or changes which we have taken up in Andhra Pradesh. So I'm going to make presentation about Eluru district of Andhra Pradesh. I got this award in 2023 for the year. So before going into the presentation, I just want to explain briefly about the Eluru district. Eluru district is one of the prosperous district in South India. Two major rivers, Krishna, Godavari, everybody knows. This is one of the two districts getting benefited from the both rivers, very prosperous district. 1/3 is paddy rice area, and then 1/3 is horticulture. We have a highest in India cocoa production as well as oil palm production, and 1/3 area is aquaculture. But still we have issues of scheduled area, a tribal region we call, where the anemia and malnutrition is a primary issue. So we are trying to address that issue also. We have one of the largest freshwater lakes, Koleru Lake, also in the Eluru district. So it has also a problem of perennial floods, Godavari floods every year, and we do get the cyclone impacts, so disaster prone district. Also, we have one more issue of Polavaram multi-purpose projects, which is equal to Bakranangal project, a huge project, interstate project between Andhra, Telangana, Orissa, Chhattisgarh. Huge number of households are displaced. So with this context, the problems, I'm going to make a presentation about the holistic development of district. So Andhra Pradesh, some of the senior officers here, they might be knowing that Andhra Pradesh as a state is a front runner in digital governance, service delivery, social initiatives. So the state government has decided to do change in the system. So how are we going to change? Only 3 aspects are taken into consideration during that time. So one is saturation. So Viksit Bharat cannot be achieved without inclusive development, either social or financial. Decades together we are trying to achieve the inclusive development, but inclusion can only be achieved through saturation. So every beneficiary, eligible beneficiary, should get the benefit. That is a saturation concept. So in order to achieve the saturation by state government, it is very difficult. We need lot of financial resources. After the bifurcation, Andhra Pradesh facing lot of financial issues. So necessity become mother of innovation. So we try to pull resources from Government of India schemes wherever possible. That's how we made the convergence as possible in every scheme. I'll explain how we did that in the further slides. Third one, community as a co-implementer. These are all terms we see generally, but actually we did that. How we ensured the community as an implementer? This self-help group movement, most of you might be knowing, it started with Andhra Pradesh. So every scheme, we used women as anchors of development, every scheme. So we made women as a part of every scheme. So that's how we ensured the community participation. This daily accountability discipline, I'll explain you in the last slide, which is my own effort. So we wanted to transform the system. So before transforming the system, we've decided that we have to achieve the saturation. So in order to achieve the saturation, first we should know, we have to start planning. Half work is completed if you do a proper planning. So in order to make a plan, we needed data. So how many of you know that how many beneficiaries who yet to get housing in your district? Do we have a proper real-time database? We don't have a database. That is where we lack the data to make a proper planning. So state government has decided that we will prepare an integrated household database. It is like a complete census data. 3 days completely door-to-door survey was taken up. Every aspect was collected and it is made into an online database. So every new schemes, they will be applying to the database. There will be a 6-step verification. It is an automated process. Whether you have agriculture land, 15 acre, 10 acre, you have a urban property house, or you have, are you a government employee, are you an income tax payee? There are 6 such parameters. Automatically it will verify in the database and it will show these are the number of beneficiaries eligible to get the scheme. So through that real time we have a data, so we can achieve a saturation clearly every year. Every scheme is implemented through this database and the DBT mode. So okay, we have a database available. Now we need to go for a planning is completed, then we are going for an implementation. This is a system introduced in Andhra Pradesh, which is not there anywhere in the country, which is village ward secretariat system, which is a grassroots governance. A new system of offices is created at the village level with 2,000 population, urban level with 4,000 population. A proper office is constructed, staff is engaged, like 10 staff at the village level, 12 staff at the urban level, ward level. They are graduates. They are like engineering assistant with engineering degree, welfare assistant, agriculture graduate, Mahila police, health assistant in VRO. There are 10 to 12 people. So all of a sudden, I got 605 such secretariats in my district with around 6,000 additional staff. They were working between the district administration and state administration, between the people, they work as a bridge. So this system is very, very effective system in which 500 types of services are delivered at the doorstep. Why I am saying doorstep delivery? For example, the pensions, especially the old age pension, the system generally we don't follow DBT for the old age pension. Every month, first of the day, the pensions are drawn and delivered at the doorstep at 6 o'clock in the morning. The staff from Vard Sachivalayam, they go, and now even the chief minister, he himself goes to the first of the day with the home, and they deliver the pension money to the elderly people. So that's how the doorstep delivery was ensured with volunteers as well as these many staff. Digital integration throughout every scheme is done. These are the two initiatives which made the systems to transform in Andhra Pradesh. So coming to Har Ghar Jal, so here we practiced the community contracting model. The Gram Jal Sangh, they were given the work to execute. They executed only piped infrastructure. Remaining civil works were taken care by the department. So the concept transition, how it happened, generally any issue happen in the infrastructure, the engineer comes, they take estimates, they prepare estimates, they take long time to rectify. So the infrastructure gets deteriorated. Here we made the people to maintain the infrastructure. That's how we changed it from department managed infrastructure to community owned sustainable infrastructure. How we did? We trained the pump operators, electricians, masons and plumbers. They become maintainers with a user fee collected from the Jal Jeevan Mission fee, connections. So the maintenance is taken care. Here, self-help group women, Anganwadi teacher, A&M, everybody was trained to do the water quality testing. These test results are displayed at the Gram Panchayat. So we do have a convergence here. One more initiative here, under National Jal Jeevan Mission, this pilot project was taken up by the Government of India. Around 18 locations it was taken up. In Yeluru, 2 locations taken up. So disinfecting the water is a primary issue. Every time the operator has to climb the overhead reservoir, pour the chlorine. So it becomes very difficult task. They don't do it. Instead, this inline chlorination system was introduced, which is electricity, 100% electricity free, low maintenance. There will be a cartridge in which you will be dropping a tablet. While the water is running, it will automatically purify the water with 0.2 ppm purification process ensured. This is done in Yeluru district. So coming to PMAY, this is one of the very beautiful scheme. I'll explain how we did it effectively under convergence mode in Andhra Pradesh. So under PMAY, beneficiary-led construction, we just gave sanctions. Most of the places we have done. Earlier also we did that. So wherever they are there, they try to construct. If they don't have a knowledge, they go to a contractor or somebody, they make money and they constructed some poor quality constructions. Here, what the state government has done, they prepared a cluster-based holistic development model, like a layout. How a private layout is there, a government has created a layout. In Yeluru alone, 555 crores were spent in acquiring a land and creating a layouts. In the layouts, house sites were given free of cost to the beneficiaries. So the infrastructure part like roads, drainage, water supply, electricity, plantation, everything is through convergence mode state government has taken up, except the road part which state government directly took up. Remaining under convergence like Jal Jeevan Mission, water supply was provided and toilets were provided under SBM and under NGNRGS, 90-day labor component. Wherever possible, everything is pulled up and this layout is created. Not just creation of layout, state government has gone to the next level. They provided free sand, subsidized cement and steel. The bigger companies, they were brought into the picture, negotiated, the cost reduction has happened, and then the negotiated price, these inputs were given to them. More than that, 35,000 additional loan with 3% interest rate is given to the self-help group women to ensure that a construction is taken up properly. Also mobilization advance, you don't have to put any money on your own. We will give you 10,000, you start doing your work. Like that the encouragement has taken up. This is one initiative, collaborator model. So most of the public, they may not know how to do a construction. They are not a labor, construction labor. So what we have done, we identified 20 people under SHG beneficiaries. We have a tie-up with a bank as well as one contractor. It's a third party, a concept called collaborator model, who has a expertise, machinery to construct the houses. So these houses were started constructing in a tripartite agreement method. Once the stage-wise work is completed, the payment goes to the bank, bank makes a payment to the collaborator. It was a very successful model. In the layout, ready-mix plant was established so that construction speeded up. Brick units were established so that inputs were available locally. So this is one such initiative. And every week the housing day is conducted. Every week the district administration, mandal level officer, they go to the layout, they conduct the grievance day, and they take up the issues. So PMJAY, so I was saying Andhra Pradesh is a front runner. So the first scheme initiated for the comprehensive health insurance is the Arogyasri scheme from Andhra Pradesh. It was way back in 2008, 2007. So this PMJAY, before that Rashtriya Swasthya Bima Yojana was there, which is 2008. Even before that, comprehensive health insurance scheme was introduced in Andhra Pradesh. When this PMJAY came into picture, it was converged, integrated into the existing scheme. There is a Arogya Mitra placed at every hospital, empaneled hospital. Whenever any beneficiary goes, he will take care of everything. He will ensure the treatment. He will upload the bill. And any grievances, it will be uploaded in an app. It will be reviewed directly by the district collector with the empaneled hospital. That's how it became a very successful model in Andhra Pradesh. Comprehensively, lot of unlimited coverage is there here. So PM Matru Vandana Yojana, here also I will be highlighting only one initiative. High risk birth planning. So I said Eluru district, though we have prosperous, but tribal regions, we have high IMR and MMR. So in order to reduce the IMR, MMR, institutional deliveries to be ensured. But generally what we do, one day before or after getting a pain, they bring the pregnant woman to the hospital. Sometimes it becomes a high risk pregnancy, IMR, MMR happens. So here state government has suggested that to the district administration, you take up an initiative and we will see. So what we did, 2 to 4 weeks before expected delivery date, we brought the high-risk pregnant women, only high-risk pregnant women to the CHCR area hospital so that they will be under the care for 2 weeks before delivery. So the deliveries were, institutional deliveries were ensured and IMR, MMR has come down. This is a very simple initiative. Only the food expenditure towards the patients, the pregnant women staying in the hospital to be taken care, that we have taken care locally. So because of that, IMR, MMR has come down. So Mission Indradhanush, we reached 100%. Faraway regions also we have gone through outreach activity through boats. You can see that. So here I would like to highlight 2-3 points only. Apart from midday meal, we have this groundnut chicky with jaggery as well as ragi java. Both were provided. One is provided by the state government, another is provided by under CSR initiative of Satya Sai Trust Puttaparthi. They are sponsoring for the entire state this ragi java with jaggery. So over and above still we face the issue of malnutrition and anemia in some of the districts, in which my district also one particular area. So for example, one initiative I would like to share is color-coded attendance registers. So if a girl child who is having excessive bleeding issue, menstrual hygiene issue or anemic issue may not be able to focus on the studies. The learning outcomes will come down. They will not be able to concentrate on the classes. So generally what teachers react in such a way that you are poor child, you don't study properly, they keep scolding. So what we did, we wanted to change the way they see the child. So what we did, we have given a color-coded register in which anemic children were divided into 3 categories, blue, red, brown. When the child's name is appearing in the red in your attendance, you understand that the child is anemic. She is not able to concentrate on the class because of anemia. So consciously, those children were monitored through an adoption system of a teacher. They ensure that these children take all the supplementary nutrition as well as IFA tablets. That's how we brought down the anemic students from 34,000 to 22,000, and we also introduced the moringa plantation in all the districts. Yeah, I have only few slides. So this is one initiative taken up at the local level by the district administration. 160 days study we conducted. Even after so many supplementary nutrition is provided, why still these children are anemic, why pregnant women are anemic and malnutrition is observed. So what we did, we have done a collaboration with the NGO as well as the St. Teresa Women's College, where the home science department is there. They created one supplementary nutrition with moringa leaf. So how many of you know about moringa? I do not know, but in South India, especially in Tamil Nadu, which is a very stable food, which has very high nutritious content. Moringa is a miracle leaf with a powerhouse of protein, iron, calcium, vitamins, which grows very easily. So using that moringa leaf, a supplementary nutrition was initiated. FSI certification was taken. Once 80 days, we have given the supplementary nutrition to the woman as well as the child. These home science students, they were sent to the villages once in 15 days, once in a month. They did a proper study. They analyzed the results. The outcomes are enormous. A simple intervention with behavioral change, monitoring has improved hemoglobin level to 0 to 2 grams, as well as the malnourished children growth has increased. You can see a visible change. Like a malnourished child, if you see, the hair color will be kind of a brownish, brittle hair. So after 6 months, the hair color has changed to black. So the conjunctiva, pale conjunctiva has converted into normal. So we did a proper study using a health department, women and child welfare, and NGO, and the study was actually overwhelming. State government has taken up this initiative to implement in other places also. I have last 3 slides. So Ujjavala, I have already told. Deepam, how many of you know Deepam scheme of Andhra Pradesh, which we started in the year 1999, well before the Ujjavala scheme, the similar scheme like Ujjavala initially. So we have already achieved the saturation, so I don't go into this detail. So this is my last but one slide. So financial inclusion, this Kisan credit cards. So if they repay properly, you will get 3% prompt repayment incentive. But state government has gone a further step. They have removed the 4% interest also. They made it into 0% interest if you make a proper repayment, and it is covered under saturation mode under Kisan credit card, as well as PM Swanidhi, which is implemented in only urban area, but in Andhra Pradesh it is implemented both in the rural area also. This is my last slide. I would like to conclude here. So I said the daily accountability mechanism, this institutionalized review, was part of my effort. So we have a plan, we have an implementation team, Sachivalayam team. What we are supposed to do as administrator is monitor on daily basis. Initially, I was also not very confident of this, but once I started doing, the results are overwhelming. The monitoring, daily monitoring mechanism, which I started at 8:30 a.m. in the morning. I used to take up a teleconference with all the district officers. It will be only 45 minutes teleconference, 8:45 to 9:30. So the day starts early. All the staff to attend the teleconference at 8:45 a.m., they prepare it well. At least 1 hour before they wake up, they prepare for the review. Everyday review will be there about the daily grievances, service level agreements, there are pending services and the schemes. So it is not just review, it is a feedback mechanism. For example, if there is an issue in layout development for housing, a department related to RWS or somebody will raise the issue in the teleconference, the another department will respond, I give instruction, the issue is closed. So every day if you do, every day 1 or 2 issue you resolve consistently except the holidays, I realized that after 1 year or 1.5 years, it yielded enormous results. So this implementation, monitoring as administrators, we have to do in transforming the systems. Second, convergence, I already explained necessity, we did the convergence. Community ownership, women were made part of it. Women are anchors of the development, inclusive and innovation. So finally, I would like to conclude that the good governance transition is not about just implementing schemes. It's about building systems which will consistently deliver sustainable outcomes. Whichever government comes to picture, whichever leader changes, in Andhra Pradesh, if you see, a system is established which will continue to function successfully. That's what we are supposed to do as a bureaucrats, to create the system and transform the system. Thank you, Ananda. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Prasanna Venkateshji, for a very elaborate and detailed presentation, especially the convergence and the role it plays in achieving milestones for the citizens is tremendous. So thanks for the insights. Now I'll invite Dr. Varnali Deka. She is an IAS officer of 2009 batch, and she has held very important roles in her distinguished career as Deputy Commissioner Nalbari, Kokrajhar, Goalpada, Golaghat and Barpeta district. She'll be speaking about the Nalbari district initiatives.
Thank you, sir. Respected Secretary Ma'am, Additional Secretary Sir, and all dignitaries present here. It is indeed an honor to be present here in this wonderful workshop today. And I'll be speaking about some of my experiences from Nalbari district. So I'll just speak about the district Nalbari. In sheer contrast to Prasanna's district, my district is one of the poorest districts of Assam and one of the densest districts of the entire northeast. Being dense, the land holding sizes are very, very, very small. Sometimes you just have a house and a little bit of an angan and that's it, which is very uncommon for a state like Assam, which in general has bigger land holding sizes. So one of the densest districts with small land holding sizes. Assam, as all of us are probably aware, is very, very disaster prone. It is flood prone. Nalbari is like a bowl. So anytime any flooding happens, anytime there are rains in Bhutan, the district gets filled up with floods, with water like a bowl. So one of the most disaster prone districts of Assam, with formidable issues of access, of reach. The braided Brahmaputra creates a lot of floating islands which are called sores, and reaching out to these population is always an issue. There is a heterogeneity of population, different in terms of way of life, in terms of language, religion, ethnicity, in terms of culture. So it makes a one-size-fits-all approach very, very difficult. So the first time I got the PM's award was in 2020 for my work in Goalpada district, and then subsequently in 23-24 Nalbari was shortlisted, and the National E-Governance Award in Kokrajhar. So sir, I just wanted to share one common experience that there were two things that we had been following in all of these districts. The first was that anytime there was some problem that came up, because Goalpada was an aspirational district, Nalbari again had issues. So anytime a problem came up, the entire district team would sit down together and we would brainstorm for solutions, and we would, through support of academia, through support of CSR, through support of various banks, whatever was little present there, we would try to find out a solution to that problem. So A, the approach was always solution based, and B, there were certain common principles across these districts which I would like to share about. So before going on to the governance part of it, I just wanted to come to this slide. This is like a holistic snapshot of what we had been doing. The first is that we always tried to create a convergence across schemes. So anytime a beneficiary came to us in any department, all the other department officials were also sensitized on the schemes. So anytime a person came for a PMAY house, when the person would visit for the paperwork of the house, the block officials were also sensitized that is the person in need of a livelihood option, in which case we would try to sanction a scheme under IBS, under NREGA, or we would try to provide a Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana loan. So it was a two-way convergence of schemes. Additional Secretary Sir has talked about saturation of scheme. So scheme saturation, in this way, it also helped us, because every time a person came who was also in need of, say, portion under for the child, the mother required some portion, it also helped us identify those needy beneficiaries. So nowadays the approach is of no one left behind, and these two-way convergences always helped us in terms of creating burgeoning of scheme benefits, creating Sampurn Samriddhi. So anytime a beneficiary would come for one scheme, we would also try to tick the other boxes. Is the beneficiary in need of the other schemes? Har Ghar Jal mein kya uske ghar mein pani hai? Is there, does he have a toilet as well? And is there a gas connection available, and so on. Then the second important part was use of technologies. Technology use was not only empathic, it was also empathetic. For example, in border areas, when I visited these areas one time, the people told me, for example, in Kokrajhar, this is a border district with a boundary with Bhutan. So persons used to come and tell us that it would take them 4 hours to reach the district headquarters. So from this, the concept of the infrastructure snapshot app was born. So in this app, the person could, put in his grievance, and within 24 hours, we would respond to the person that these are the issues, this is why your problem will be solved, or this is why your problem would not be solved. So JJM Brain is one technology which was piloted in Nalbari. Under JJM Brain in Nalbari, what we were seeing is that Har Ghar Jal Yojana, Prasanna has talked about. Har Ghar Jal Yojana mein kahi pe kya hota tha ki till the last point the water would not reach, because the water pressure would become so poor till the last point that aakhri point pe us pipeline mein when you reach the last point, if you turned on the taps, it was just a drizzle of water coming. So for such issues, the JJM Brain app was developed. And JJM Brain, what happened is that every time you went to a Har Ghar Jal PWSS, a pipe water supply scheme, if you there would be a QR code, and nowadays everybody has a mobile, most people have a smartphone, so they just had to scan the QR code, and then everything related to the scheme, what are the scheme coverages, what are the scheme monies that were required in the scheme, the funds that had gone on, all of this was provided under the JJM Brain app. We had an electronic billing system as well, because many times people said that they came to the office, they were not, it caused them loss of a day's wages, or sometimes it would be like the person came in the morning, the bus service would close by 3 o'clock, so they had to again stay back at the headquarters, causing them further, inculcating more losses in terms of having to stay at a hotel and so on. So electronic billing system was developed, Jal Kosh, Jal Mitra, Jal Doot apps, all of these were used very efficaciously. And then we had the Pragya app. The Pragya app is an app for urban space. So Nalbari has a limited urban space, but what was seen is that even in this urban space, many times there were issues because it is a new municipal area. Sometimes the street light wouldn't work, sometimes the dustbin was not clean. So for all of this, the Pragya app was developed. We had 24/7 helplines, which of course is required for Assam, because there are often issues of floods. We have flash floods coming. We have issues of cyclones. All of a sudden some cyclone comes and people in the Saur areas, people in the braided riverine areas had to flag an alert. So we used to generally ensure that the towers were on and people could reach us. Comprehensive and multifaceted use of SHG networks. So this is something I would like to talk about. We have a very vibrant SHG network. We have a number of SHGs, about 1.2 lakh women out of the 10 lakh population of Nalbari are covered under the SHG network, and we always used to make use of the SHG's network in terms of creation of livelihood and also in terms of being brand ambassadors of our schemes. Innovative use of MG and Rega. I'll talk about Nalbari sometime later, and then Udyam Goshtis. So in Assam, generally, the focus has always been on being job seekers. Most of the time, it is a very service-oriented kind of a culture. So from being job seekers, we were trying to create job creators, and with the concept of Udyam Goshti, these were basically clubs which were created of students starting from 4th standard onwards, and these children were given training. We made them talk to leading entrepreneurs. We made them visit the entrepreneurial areas, the industrial areas. So we tried to orient in them an orientation of being job creators. How could you be an entrepreneur for social good? So these are some of the things which I'll be talking about a little more in depth after this. How convergence was affected to get the desired result, I have already talked about. For example, in terms of, every time a girl child is born, the children of the nearby school, they used to go visit the girl's family, where a baby girl is born, and plant fruit-bearing and valuable trees. Fruit-bearing trees for nutrition, valuable trees because then a few years down the line, those trees could be used. in terms of these. So I'll talk a little more in details of some of these concepts. The governance parameters, this is what the PM award had, these were some of the parameters of the award. I have already talked about creating digital platforms, and Prasanna has very nicely talked about monitoring of scheme, 100% monitoring. So even though I didn't have a morning meeting at 8:30, what I did is that we had DDC meetings. So DDC meeting is a meeting of the heads of department. I think even in Jammu Kashmir, this concept probably is there. Every month, the entire district team, the heads of departments sits together, and earlier the meetings were held only at the district headquarters. What we did now is that once on a fixed date, every week, every fortnight or every month, we would go to a border point, to an outlying point or to a nearby point, and then we would have the meeting, and then following this, we would have a discussion with the public. We would call the leading members of the public and we would understand their problems. So this not only gave us good ideas that these are the core points, these are the black holes which are preventing scheme saturation, this also helped our district officers to get more sensitized to the issues of those people in those areas. Real-time tracking was done through various apps, real-time tracking, because it is said that what gets measured gets done. So we always tried to measure. Under the aspirational district framework, there is the Champions of Change portal. I think some of us may have worked in the aspirational district scheme. So in a similar line, the government of Assam has also developed a framework. This is called the Chief Minister's framework, and in fact, our ACRs are also related to how we perform in that framework. So there is always a real-time tracking that is going on. What we did is that this was done in letter and in spirit. Aisa nahi tha ki end of the week, this is given. We also did a second-tier checking of whatever the reports were given to us were accurately given. Ground-level feedback and so on. Accountability, these are some of the things which were done. Effectiveness of administration and regulatory quality. So we had city-level technical cells in all of the municipalities. Ground-level feedback was taken from the citizens. We had multiple levels of feedback, and oftentimes we would just go and sit amongst the citizenry and try to get their feedback on various schemes, which also created an alertness amongst the district level, heads of departments as well as the ground level workers that, whatever is happening, the feedback ultimately would reach us. Inclusiveness, community participation. This is very important, having a grievance redressal mechanism. So we had two of these apps which I have already talked about, the Pragya app for urban space, infrastructure snapshot app, replicability and scalability. Though every time a new solution was tried to put in place, we did not go all out. We generally tried to take it up in a particular village, in a particular block, and when we found that this is workable, we would scale it up to the entire district. So this is regarding the Nalberi scheme, which I'll talk about a little later because I also want to show the beneficiaries' feedback on the scheme. Human resources and capacity building, convergence of schemes. These things I've already spoken about. So Prasanna has already given a good idea of all of the schemes. I just wanted to take it from a human angle because for us, generally us as administrators, we tend to think of things only as statistics. कि ठीक है यहाँ 99% coverage हो गया, how do we take care of the 1%? Or sometimes it even happens that, when we do an Anganwadi rationalization, we may think, okay, there is one Anganwadi there are two Anganwadis in that area within a radius of 1 kilometer, but we also tend to forget that the other Anganwadi that we are trying to merge into the first one, how much would be the human cost of that? Maybe a mother, maybe a young child would have to walk a kilometer extra, walk 2 kilometers extra. So that human factor also we have tried to factor in. I'm sharing some of the stories that people talked about. So when we were trying to assess and audit these schemes, one of the persons told that she is a weaver. So how, when we think of Har Ghar Jal, we only think about getting clean water to the household, but what is the impact of the lady of the house? Earlier in Assam, because there is sometimes this issue of iron in water, So this lady is saying that she spent 2 to 3 hours daily queuing at the community tube well for water, and then they have these filters of sand and charcoal which had to be cleaned out, and then new layers had to be put. So in these filters she had to filter the water. So 2 to 3 hours every day would go in this filtering process. Ji sir. So these are some of the human aspect stories as well. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin. So Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin, what here, this is one scheme which is absolutely ideal for the concept of Sampurn Samriddhi. Every time a beneficiary used to, a construction of the houses would go on under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin, the local BDO was told that you visit the beneficiary house, you see if she is in need of some other schemes. A number of times the feedback would pool in that, the beneficiary is somehow constructing this house, but he has already taken loan, she has already taken loan, and she is not able to complete the construction process. So in these cases, rather than taking the beneficiary, as a culprit, oftentimes hota hai ki acha paise le liya, ghar nahi banaya, to you put pressure on the beneficiary. Rather than that, we took a more empathetic approach. We tried to provide some loan, we tried to provide some IBS which would give a shot in the arm to the beneficiary so that she could complete the house. At the same time, if we found that she was in need of some other livelihood options, we tried to provide a mudra loan. Similarly, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban, oftentimes we combine Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban with PM Swanidhi. I think some of us being administrators would know what is PM Swanidhi, and I guess the latest batch of Jammu Kashmir Administrative Service is here, and I interacted with a few of them. All of them are very bright. So you must be knowing what is Pradhan Mantri Swanidhi and what is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. So if any time a beneficiary came for Awas Yojana, we would try to also see if they were in need of Swanidhi. Some of the success stories, there was this widow who had been thrown out. In Assam, this issue sometimes comes up that if a husband is, the husband dies, the woman is blamed that she is an upshagun. So this lady was thrown out, and then how little by little she could save, and then she built up a house, she built up a shop, and so on. These are some of the other initiatives under Indradhanush, how we could manage to cross the barriers. The Rose Network basically refers to the SHG's hand-holding. So the SHGs had created a network, and when such cases were reported, rather than our officers going and trying, when there were cases of resistance, rather than our officers going and trying to, convince the mother to get the vaccination done, the SHGs would go and create a kind of soft pressure on the mother. Some of the other initiatives, I think we are a little short of time. So Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana is often a scheme that is overlooked because there are so many other schemes. This is one scheme I would like to talk about. We could efficaciously use this scheme for creating health-seeking behaviors. Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana usually is slightly an incentive-based scheme. So we tried to create a catchment under NRLM, under NHM, Sneha Sparsha, teaching the mothers how to, oftentimes we see that malnutrition is not just related to the economic condition of the household. It is a very strange finding that we saw in the various districts, that it is not just related to the economic condition. Oftentimes the mother herself is not aware ki bacche ko khilaye kya. So we conducted in situ camps where we taught the mother various other recipes that could be fed to the child. I'll just end with one small example of how just NREGA can create multiple convergences, and this is the last example, sir. So there is this scheme called Nalberi that we had taken up, and in fact that was even appreciated in the Chief Minister's Karma Shri. So under Nalberi, what we did is that we created worksheds for Eri cultivation. Eri is a silkworm. So we created worksheds. Earlier, the silkworm, the ladies who did silkworm production, the silkworm, they would keep the worm along, the person would stay with the worm. So we created worksheds, and we gave the ownership of the worksheds, the owners of the workshed, to various SHGs. So the SHG women would take turns, and in these workshops they did eri cultivation. We are all aware of the Amrit Sarovar scheme of Honorable Prime Minister. So in the Amrit Sarovar scheme, one of the layers of plantation was the eri feeder leaves, which are generally keseru or tapioca. So the feeder leaves could be provided from that, and then we tied up the eri manufacturers to companies in Assam. So there was a minimum support price that these companies provided, and at the same time the eri producers were given this leeway that they could go beyond this price as well. So I'll end with this, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Varnali Dekaji. It is an excellent presentation, and how the local resources are mobilized to achieve so much for the local citizens. That is the lesson. I'm sure everyone is getting some new idea, some innovation which is promoting you to think, prompting you to think, and what we can replicate at civil servants. So that was an excellent presentation, ma'am. Thank you. Now I invite Shri V. Kirti Vasanji. Kirti ji is a 2018 batch of Odisha cadre, and he is currently DM of Kanjam district, though he will be speaking about the award-winning Koraput district initiative.
Very good morning to one and all present here, respected Secretary Ma'am, Additional Secretary Sir, and other senior dignitaries from DRPG and from the Government of J&K. I am Kirti Vasan, currently serving as Collector and District Magistrate in Ganjam District, and I had the privilege of representing Koraput District during the PM Awards 2024. And we won the PM Awards for under the category Holistic Development of Districts, which the earlier senior speakers spoke about. So I will quickly run through the best practices that Koraput District implemented as a part of all these 11 Government of India flagship schemes. So before that, I would like to give a brief overview about Koraput. So to appreciate the efforts taken by Team Koraput, one has to understand the difficulties under which the district is placed. Koraput is one of the aspirational districts of Niti Aayog, and the district has around 8,800 square kilometer of area, which keeps Koraput as the third biggest district in the state. And undivided Koraput, which consists of 4 other districts, was one of the biggest districts in the entire country before the division happened in 1993. And more than 25% of the district is forested, and it is a part of the Eastern Ghats. And more than 50% population of the district consists of people belonging to different tribal communities. And the district had a very low literacy rate, as low as 49%, and predominantly most of the people stay in the rural areas. In terms of livelihood, the primary livelihood options include different agricultural practices, and the district is emerging as a prominent tourism hub in southern Odisha, connecting Andhra Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. And there is significant bauxite mining, with Nalco holding one of their biggest mining deposits in Koraput. And Koraput also has this distinction of holding the tag as globally important agricultural heritage systems, which most of you might be aware, because Kashmir in J&K was the first place in the country to get this unique identity in 2011, followed by Koraput for its traditional agricultural practices with more than 100 different kinds of local rice varieties. So I'll be talking about different best practices under various schemes. Under Har Ghar Jal, because of the sparsely populated pockets, the district hardly has around 15 lakh population, but since they are spread out across 8,800 square kilometers. So it was important for us to saturate every single village. Some villages, some hamlets would have just 2 or 3 households. But it was important for the administration to ensure that the services reach the last person, the last household. Precast structures were predominantly utilized to achieve saturation, and a dedicated helpline number was provided for the beneficiaries to call in case of any grievance. The toll-free numbers are also connected to the state headquarters as well as the district headquarters, and whenever a complaint is received, the team would act upon it, and there was a very strict complaints monitoring mechanism which would ensure that the grievances are addressed within 24 to 48 hours of registering the complaint. And due to the difficult terrain under which we operate, it was not possible for us to tap the surface water or the river waters for providing water supply across the district. So we came up with a system called spring-based water supply projects, in which natural springs were used, and the water from these springs was stored at different locations. And the spring-based water supply systems were implemented to cover various villages to achieve the saturation. And due to lack of infrastructure in terms of electricity, road connectivity, we also employed different solar-powered small village schemes, through which the saturation of drinking water, which is a very basic right for the households, that was being achieved in these distant remote villages. So coming to Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin, we had this concept of Mo Adarsh Gruha, which translates to my model house, in which we would try to converge and saturate all the other additional facilities that one could get under various other schemes, like under Saubhagya Yojana electricity connection, IHHL under Swachh Bharat mission, piped water supply under JJM, land pata under the state scheme called Vasundhara Yojana, LPG connection. We would be converging the household, which is prominent and prevalent in all the other states also. So providing 95 days percentage for household constructions and different other schemes like pension, ration card, etc. So in order to empower the beneficiaries, we designed something called a Mo Adarsh Gara Kata, which is a booklet which we gave to every single household, every single beneficiary, in which they would know what all benefits they are eligible to get. So the booklet would speak about what is the size of house they are eligible to get, what is the amount under SBM for them to construct the IHHL, what is the pension eligibility, what are the other different schemes which they can take benefit from, and every scheme would have the signature of the BDO and the local sarpanch, so that the stakeholders at the field level would also know at any point of time whether different schemes have reached to that particular household or not. And whenever a senior officer goes to the field, we first inspect this particular booklet, from which we could understand whether all the services have reached that particular household or not. And due to Koraput being a hilly district, and we do not have any major rivers there, so there was a huge shortage of raw materials like sand and bricks. So we engaged local SHG groups, and using the fly ash from NALCO, we empowered the SHGs, we gave them bank linkages, and we gave them technical support. And SHG groups in different pockets of the district, they started operating fly ash brick manufacturing units, and they had a assured business of supplying these bricks to all the government construction activities, also for the PMAY households. So this has helped us do away with the difficulty of finding raw material, and sand from neighboring districts were brought in, and sand banks were created in all the blocks, from where the beneficiaries could collect sand at a very minimal rate. And we also tried to identify masons who were beneficiaries under PM Vishwakarma Yojana, and they were tagged with cluster houses so that trained and skilled masons were available for faster construction of houses across the district. So this is one beneficiary who had the opportunity of getting the key to his house from Honorable Prime Minister when Honorable PM had visited Bhubaneswar. So similarly, under PMAY Urban, there was a single window system for clearing all the applications, and specific ward-wise camps were organized to rope in beneficiaries to make them understand about the different benefits in addition to PMAY. And Odisha has a unique concept of giving land rights certificates, which is not exactly a patta, but rights over the land where different slums have emerged. So using these LRCs, they could claim PMAY, because in urban areas, the land availability is very minimal, and it is also difficult to keep giving land without infinitely. So land rights certificates were given to facilitate urban slum dwellers to avail PMAY urban housing, and they were able to construct houses there. So Mission Indradhanush is one scheme where we have achieved 100% saturation, because earlier it was very difficult and there was a lot of hesitation among the beneficiaries to take vaccination. So we started giving out vaccination invitation cards, which you are able to see on the top right. So invitation cards were given to all the households where they were due for a vaccine, and they were invited to come to the vaccination sessions. And we also had a online database through which we started monitoring every single child. And there were few habitations where the people did not turn out. So we had special campaigns. Our healthcare workers used to cross rivers, and they used to go by foot also to different habitations to ensure last mile delivery of vaccination. And we had introduced these Pico projectors, which is a handheld mobile projector to showcase the benefits and the disadvantages of not being vaccinated to the rural households, so that they could understand better. It was a way of sensitizing the rural households. And due to the poor connectivity for different habitations, we had these boat ambulances mobilized, and our team used to travel by boat, crossing rivers and water reservoirs to reach the last mile. So under PMJAY, in addition to covering the beneficiaries, we also took up infrastructure augmentation of our existing government hospitals, starting from our sub-centers to the district headquarter hospital under AMA hospital scheme, where state-of-the-art infrastructure was created. So any kind of immediate response was ensured at these hospitals, because Koraput had only 4 empaneled hospitals, and that was also located in the district headquarter. So it was difficult for a person in a very distant block to always rely on these private hospitals. So we took a conscious effort to ensure that all basic facilities are also available in our sub-centers, CHCs, and our government infrastructure, so that only in case of any complications, they would come to the district headquarter hospital, or they will move to Bhubaneswar or Visakhapatnam, which are the other possible locations for tertiary care. Koraput has a decent DMF, District Mental Foundation Fund, of around 80 crores. So most of these funds were utilized either in education or in healthcare, and we also augmented the existing ambulance fleet, which would help connect the rural households to the district headquarter hospital. And we also liberally utilized our Red Cross funds for providing it to the beneficiaries who wanted to travel to Visakhapatnam or Bhubaneswar for tertiary care. So under PM Swanidhi, we gave out street vendor identity cards, which would also talk about all the other schemes PM Swanidhi beneficiaries entitled to avail. And we also created model vending zones in all our ULBs, which would give them a dignified workplace. And the distribution of PM Swanidhi benefits was taken up on a saturation mode. We did a enumeration, door-to-door enumeration of all the street vendors who are residing in urban areas. And we had a 7-day timeline, which was strictly followed by the ULBs for saturating the scheme. And we also had Swanidhi Mitras, just like we have local stakeholders under different schemes. We introduced Swanidhi Mitras, who would motivate all the street vendors to come forward and avail benefits under the scheme. So under Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana, we ensured the 100% registration of pregnant women by following a 3-tier verification system, which would start at the sector or the Gram Panchayat level, at the block level, and the district level. Many a times we see huge differences in the database that is being maintained by the WCD department and the health department, which created a lot of confusion when it came to saturation of benefits. So to do away with these discrepancies, we had this 3-tier verification system which helped out match both the databases and to ensure targeted delivery of benefits. Just like Prasanna sir spoke about mobilizing beneficiaries at a much earlier time, we also did not have the luxury of having good healthcare infrastructure across all the blocks or cluster of villages. So we created something called Magruha, which are maternity waiting homes. So we used to identify high-risk pregnancies and shift them in advance, and we kept them at the Magruha. So Magruha was 24/7 manned, and we also gave them an incentive of 100 rupees per day for them to stay there, in addition to all the healthcare facilities and the nutrition support that are being given. And when by the time the pregnant woman starts developing any pain or symptoms, she would be shifted to the nearest delivery point for safe delivery. So through this, we were able to ensure almost 100% institutional delivery, and the benefits under PMMVA was also ensured to all the beneficiaries. We also started this initiative called Nutrition at the Doorstep, through which vegetable seed kits were given to all the beneficiaries so that they could grow vegetables in their own backyard and they could consume for a healthy lifestyle. So under Kisan Credit Card Scheme, as I earlier mentioned that Koraput has a good natural wealth and also recognized as a globally important agricultural heritage system. So Koraput has a huge potential for horticulture crops like strawberry, sunflower, coffee, ginger, and Koraput coffee has been doing a lot of rounds in social media recently. I would also be playing a video on that. So modern techniques were adopted, and we also gave them good marketing and packaging support for all the KCC beneficiaries so that they could diversify their crops, and the target was to shift people slowly away from paddy intensive cropping system to a more horticulture based system so that their livelihoods would also develop. So good number of FPOs were formed, and all the members of the FPOs were provided benefits under KCC, and we also started utilizing this opportunity to promote more agro-tourism. So there is a very important project of Government of India which is coming up across the bordering states of Koraput, Visakhapatnam to Raipur, Bharat Pariyojana, which is going to be a game changer for the entire district. So the current time taken for one to travel from Koraput to Vizag would be around 4 to 5 hours. So after the inauguration of Bharat which is expected to happen sometime later this year, the travel time would reduce to just 2 hours. So this would open up a huge potential for tourism in the district, and one from Vizag or from Raipur can reach Koraput in 2 to 3 hours of time. So we also started leveraging the existing agricultural practices like strawberry and coffee plantation for agro-tourism clusters, which has started showing good results in terms of economic prosperity of the beneficiaries there. So under PM Vishwakarma, we identified traditional craft villages, and we gave the village a particular name like Gaudaguda Pottery Village, Dongriguda Weavers Village. So this again started developing into small tourism hubs where people who are passing through that route would drop in and purchase something directly from these locations, and all the products that these artisans develop, they are also put on showcase at the district headquarters or somewhere close by, where they would get sufficient marketing support. And as I mentioned earlier, masons under PM Vishwakarma, they were tagged with PMAY beneficiaries also. So there was cross-linkage between different schemes of Government of India. So under Poshan 2.1 Sakhyam Anganwadi, Koraput is also a district which is known for millet cultivation with a huge cultivation of ragi. So we, through the SHGs, we started a millet processing unit, which I would be talking about, with support of ICRISAT. And we started preparing millet-based supplements like millet laddus, millet khichdi, millet sweet meal, etc. And we supplied that to all our Anganwadis as well as our tribal hostels. So we have around 600 hostels in the district where more than 60,000 children, they stay with us, and all these hostels are covered under this millet program. So PM Suryagar Muft Bijli Yojana is is a very recent scheme that we started implementing in the district, and there has been a good response from the urban areas especially. And we started approaching home loan customers, taking the database from the banks, and along with the home loan, we started linking the benefits under PM Surya Ghar. And the state government gives an additional incentive over and above the central incentive, so which makes the scheme very attractive in the state. So these are few innovations that we that we initiated in Koraput, which helped us across different scheme implementation. The Magruha we spoke about. Millet processing, these are the photos of the millet processing unit, where ICRISAT came in and they gave us the technical support. And this rural industrial park is another innovation which was one of the finalists in the previous year PM Awards. So the concept here was to convert LWE hotspots into development hotbeds. So the existing COBs, company operating base of the CRPF or the BSF, after they moved out, once the district has slowly started becoming LWE free. So once they start moving out, the infrastructure that was created for them remained idle. So we converted these infrastructure into thriving livelihood hotspots by providing different machinery for the local SHGs, and they started working in these locations and started coming out with different products like turmeric, millet, ragi
Kirti,
flour,
please
etc.
wind up, please. Please
Yes,
wind up.
2 more slides. So these are different activities that they take up in the rural industrial parks. And I mentioned about coffee and strawberry plantation. So I would like to wind up with a small video here. And these are the different awards that the district achieved over the past 2 to 3 years. Just a 3-minute video for your reference, please.
We'll skip the video, Kirti. You are into other person's time now.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's already longer than. It's okay. So, from dense areas in Albari to the sparse habitation challenges in Koraput, if you see only the landscape is changing, the challenges is changing, but what is constant is the motivation and innovation and leadership of our district officials. They are working in difficult conditions, but still they are giving so much back to the country. And Mo Adarsh, Ghar Khata, songs in local language, Magro, some of those were very innovative ideas. So coming now, reaching the Jammu and Kashmir, we have a speaker, Ms. Ayushi Sudan. She is an awardee from 2024 awards, and she is a 2017 batch of IAS of Egmont Cadre. She won the award for the Kupwara district, and let me say that Jammu Kashmir has been doing well in the PM awards. And even last year there were 5 districts which were very close, which were almost in the top 20 or so, 25 or so: Baramulla, Kulgam, Kupwara, Pulwama, and Udhampur. So that shows the commitment of the officers and all the officials who are working in the field. So thank you all, and overall now it's Ayushi, please.
A very good morning to all of you. It's a privilege to be here, and I would especially like to thank Secretary Ma'am DRPG and Government of JHK, especially the GAD department in Impar, Rehana Batul Ma'am. Thank you. I'll straight away dive in because we don't have much time and I have another speaker after me. So to begin with, Kupwara. Kupwara is the northernmost district of Jammu and Kashmir. It's a border district with a very long LOC of around 180 kilometers. In the past, it has faced insurgency. It is primarily rural, agriculture-based, and has a very high forest cover of 75%. Apart from that, it has immense tourism potential with valleys like Lolab, Keran, Machil, and Bangas. It's the highest walnut producer in the country. And as I said, these are the things. I'll straight away dive into what Kupwara. I want to show this picture to you. This picture is that of a remote aspirational block of Kupwara called Keran. On the left-hand side of the Neelam River, you see Keran, and on the right-hand side, you see POK. This picture captures the essence of Kupwara. Its remoteness, its the fact that it is border, and the fact that it is full of opportunities. To begin with, we identified certain gaps in our service delivery. We realized because of the past security risks and because of our overall dependence on government jobs, our private sector had not really grown. So there were limited number of job opportunities in Kupwara. The other gap that we identified was that of tough terrain. We had 3 very high passes and significant population on the other side with very hard to reach areas. That resulted in limited working period as well as a lot of climatic adversities. We also had one of the lowest access to clean drinking water. So before 2019, before JGM had started, we only had 38% of our population who had access to clean drinking water. Fourth, we had limited market opportunities. Even the products that were locally available or locally produced didn't have that kind of digital marketing or even banking facilities available. And fifth, in general, because of the low literacy rates and a lack of awareness in the rural areas, there was a limited knowledge of existing schemes in the district. So we realized we had to focus on five key areas. Since a lot of people couldn't come to the district headquarters, we had to ensure that the government could reach them at the doorstep. So a lot of outreach activities, be it back to village, be it block divases, public darbars, panchayat level awareness camps, we wanted to bring government at the doorsteps. Second was that of capacity building. Not just of our youth, of our SAG members or our farmers, but also of our own staff. We had to sensitize them about their own roles in implementation of these schemes, saturation of these schemes, and effective and qualitative implementation of these schemes. Third was gender sensitization. We had more than 75,000 SAG members in the district, and we knew that they could be a force multiplier in the growth journey of Kupwara district. We also realized that we had one of the lowest, we had a low female literacy level. Therefore, we needed to focus more on the girl child. Fourth was that of grievance redressal and a robust feedback mechanism. So through public darbars, through portals like Samadhan, IG grams, CP grams, we ensured that there was a robust feedback mechanism. And fifth was regular follow-up and monitoring by subcommittees within the district. So this is the 6-point strategy that we laid out for ourselves. First was accountability and regular monitoring. We set up a district task force which monitored the performance of select indicators on a regular basis. We also developed certain performance trackers for specific departments like education and ICDS, which would track our educational institutions or our Anganwadi centers against set parameters and rank them within the district. And this we did with the help of our pyramid team, which was assigned to us by Niti Aayog. Next was extension of online services. From 4G saturation to opening of new CSC centers in the backward areas, and a push towards online services through all the already implemented government initiatives like Jan Sugam, Revenue Plus, Mission Yuva. Each and every service was available to the people through in the online mode. A special portal was also developed by the district called E-Pass for border areas to facilitate tourism in the district. Third, as the rest of the speakers before me, we also tried for convergence in schemes, be it infrastructure development. For example, in district capex, we set up more than 15,000 solar street lights. Or with the help of Manrega, we developed a robust flood protection mechanism. But apart from that, we also ensured that if we were covering one person under a particular scheme, for example, if I was covering one person under PM Swanidhi, I was also covering the same person under several social security benefit schemes, like Jeevan Jyoti Bima or Suraksha Bima Yojana or etc. Fourth was community participation. As I previously said, the stakeholder engagement and outreach at both the levels of planning and execution was the mainstay. Block divases, Thana divases, panchayat level awareness camps, so that we were able to bridge the gap between the government and the people. Fifth was private sector and the NGO engagement. So we tried to get as much as CSR funding that we could. We didn't have the huge DMF resources as the previous district did. So we engage a lot of NGOs like IOCL for infrastructure development in certain areas. For example, we developed certain block libraries. We got a few ambulances. All this with the help of private sector and NGO engagement. And the sixth, that was youth engagement. So the skill gap analysis of the youth through Mission Yuva, then skilling them against the various trades using our own district level initiative called Hunar Month Kupwara, and then linking them with subsidy-linked credit schemes for promotion of self-employment so that we could have a robust private sector in the district. There were 12 schemes under which we were assessed for the PM Awards. This is the data for the various schemes. Coming directly to JJM, we had at district level and subdivisional monitoring task forces which would implement the JJM schemes on ground. Right at the beginning, we realized that we had to rely on local knowledge also to identify spring sources, water sources, and then develop our schemes. We created Pani Samitis. We had capacity building of the same, and so that they could take ownership of these assets. And we ensured that the participation of women in these Pani Samiti was the maximum. We also tried to converge the JJM with our own district capex. So if a particular ward or a particular cluster of houses was left out during the planning phase in the JJM, we tried to cover it through our own district capex. We tried that we monitor our own water quality and manage the waterborne outbreaks. So in the last 3-4 years, we have not had any major waterborne outbreak in the district. And I would just like to mention that before 2022, where our FHTC coverage was 50%, we had increased it to 84% at the end of 2024. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, this was also a very important scheme. In the 2 years between 22 and 24, we developed more than 10,000 houses. This we did by identifying all the left out households beyond our SECC data of 2011. And also we tried to converge it with MG Narega, the 90 days, the 90 man days, as well as providing toilets under SBMG. And we also ensured that each of these houses had a water connection, had a gas connection. And as a result, under this scheme itself, we created more than 7 lakh man days. We had a special focus on the border and the SC/ST households. We also ensured that in all of the far-flung blocks, we held grievance redressal camps, especially when it came to disbursements. And we had multi-agency field verification of each and every house. And as a result, we were able to saturate our left-out households. Similarly, in PMAY Urban, we ensured that the entire application process of the beneficiary was streamlined. We had ward-wise camps and ensured that there was a comprehensive demand survey and a door-to-door verification of potential beneficiaries so that nobody was left out. And with the help of the MIS and the geotagged mobile applications, we ensured real-time monitoring of our various stages and ensured fund disbursement as well. In total, we developed more than 1,500 houses across 3 MCs in Kupwara. Mission Indradhanush. In this, I would like to tell you that we had a lot of hard-to-reach areas, and as well as those vulnerable populations which would move every season. So we had to heavily rely on micro-planning. We developed block-level plans, and we had to motivate our frontline workers to especially go to these areas. In several areas, they had to cross very high mountains, streams, to cover the area, to cover the beneficiaries on the other side. We used real-time monitoring tools like EWIN and UWIN, and in areas where electricity was not there, we relied on solar-based ILRs in order to expand the cold chains to our remote centers. As a result, by the end of 24, we achieved 100% immunization. Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Herein we adopted 2 strategies. First was our enrollment enrollment and covering the left out beneficiaries. So therefore, with block level plans, with engagement of our ASHAs and other line functionaries, we ensured that we were able to enroll all our families under PMJAY, as well as we also try to address the infrastructural issues. We had limited panelment of private hospitals. So we ensured that we strengthen our own government hospitals to cover the inadequate health infrastructure in the private sector. So therefore, we strengthened our health infrastructure, operationalized more OTs, and extended certain services which were otherwise not available in a regular CHC or PHC. CHC Kupwara is one of the only CHCs in the country to have DNB as well. Next was PM Swanidhi. As I previously mentioned, the idea was that if we were covering a beneficiary under PM Swanidhi, we also tried to integrate the same beneficiary with other schemes. For example, PM SPY, PM JJBY, Ayushman Bharat, so that he has both financial and social security coverage. Apart from that, because they didn't have a credit culture, we also ensured that we try to include them on digital payment platforms for easy digital transactions, and also strengthened the credit linkage of these particular individuals through our own line beneficiaries who would motivate them at regular instances. We also try to ensure that they complete their payments of their first tranche so that they become eligible for their second and third, and therefore a culture of credit taking expands within this sector. PM Matru Vandana Yojana. In this, we used one simple tool. We already had an existing digital tracking tool called the RCH portal, which the health uses. It tracks all the pregnant women through the trimester journey. However, a lot of when we realized that Anganwadi workers were not really using this portal, so we tried to map both the portion tracker data with the RCH portal data. As a result of which, we were able to remove a lot of discrepancies amongst the data, and therefore we were able to reach out to the maximum number of beneficiaries. In total, we had one of the highest coverage of pregnant women under this particular scheme. More than 35,000 women receive benefit under this particular scheme. We also incentivize our Anganwadi workers and our ASHA workers, streamline the application process, line listed our pregnant women, and develop block level action plans for the same. I'll skip a few slides and I'll come directly to the two sectors that I wanted to talk about. First is the agriculture sector. We were lucky that we already had a very good scheme in the UT called the Holistic Agriculture Development Scheme. So we basically focused on three things. Using the existing CSS schemes and the UT level, HADP and the JKSIP, we focused on three things. Alternative cropping. We went for oilseed production, food production, rootstock improvement under the same. We went for products which were normally we were not doing. We tried to revive red rice in Tangthar using an FPO over there. Second, Krishipreneurs. We realized that a lot of youth were actually moving away from agriculture. So we wanted to create employment opportunities under agriculture itself. We created a lot of success stories with the help of already existing schemes like PMEGP, NRLM, HADP, Mudra, be it a sheep rearing station or a red rice, a niche crop, honey production. All of these we made under Krishipreneurs. Third was a cluster-based approach. We focused on one region for one product. For example, in a place called Mawa, we went for fish farming. A place called Hachmag, we went for a tomato village. In a place called Gulgam, we went for beekeeping. So to have that production, to have that scale of production in the first place. These are some of the pictures of agriculture sector. Second, now to create more employment opportunities in Kupwara district. Dovetailing our existing self-employment scheme. We already have so many schemes which are existing in this UT and several CSS schemes. So under Mumkin, under PMEGP, KVIB, we developed more than 25,000 jobs in the last 2 years. We launched a specific campaign called Hunarmand Kupwara. We had already done a skill gap analysis, and using our own resources of our ITIs and polytechnics, we undertook skilling of around 3,000 individuals as a part of Hunarmand Kupwara. These were short courses, 7-day, 14-day, 30 days, to cater to these individuals, primarily focusing on, say, digital literacy, financial literacy, something that our SAG women could also use. And creation of ecotourism centers. We had a lot of tourism potential within the district, and we had seen a massive jump in the tourist footfall as well in the last 2 years. So we realized that we had to make more homestays, we had to develop more infrastructure, so that is something that we did. And expansion of role of women through the SAGs. As I said, we already had 75,000 women who had joined SAGs, and they became the driving force in the rural economy.
Ayushi, please wind up.
Sir. This is the last slide I'll talk about, sir. In the education sector, we focused on use of technology. In 2 years, we developed more than 300 smart classrooms. We used AV tools in classrooms for better understanding. One specific program that we developed was that on FLN, which is Foundational Literacy and Numeracy. We did a baseline survey of our children in primary and middle classes and curated special courses for them for 30 or 45 days, and then did a midline, baseline, and an endline assessment to ensure that they reach a specific level of learning, which I'm very happy to tell that they did. Third was, we developed a performance tracker of all our schools across 6 thematic areas covering 85 KPIs for better planning and monitoring. And we tried to focus on improved infrastructure in terms of STEM labs, ICT labs, border library blocks, and additional classrooms. This is a report card of, say, one of the schools that we made under the Aspirational District program. Some photographs of the border libraries. This is a robotic lab that we built in Kupwara district. Smart classrooms. In health, we went for health equipment strengthening. Some glimpses into the CSS. So basically, key takeaways are, we adapted the national programs locally. We tried to empower our field functionaries, decentralize authority. We wanted to foster ownership. And we wanted to celebrate our small wins to sustain our momentum. And we used technology as enablers. This is a small 30-second video, if you can play, sir.
I think we'll skip it because
Okay.
we have already heard you in rapt patience, and it was an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
So thank you for all those wonderful initiatives. Government at the doorstep, public darbar, grievance redressal, Pani, Samiti. I think all these small initiatives and to make a big impact on the lives of the citizens. So as the last speaker in this session, I'll invite Shri Tarit Kanti Chakmaji. And Tarit Kanti is a 2017 batch IS officer of Tripura cadre, and he was DMN collector of Gomti district, which was selected for the award. Tarit, you can start the presentation, please.
Very good afternoon. Respected Secretary Ma'am, respected Additional Secretary Sir, Sirs, Ma'am, and dear colleagues. I'll be giving a presentation that will be more pictorial so that it can be more engaging also, and because of the paucity of time, I shall be crisp and short also. Regarding Gomti district, this was carved in 2012. This used to be the capital of the state of Tripura until it was shifted to Agartala. So we are having 3 subdivisions, 3 urban local bodies, 8 blocks, and 173 GBPCs. And we have border with Bangladesh also. These are the different schemes in focus, the 11 schemes. So for the different schemes, we have been able to achieve we have tried to for maximum saturation, 80%, 90%, and all this we have tried to do. Same here. So the different challenges will be very quick also. So there usually in northeastern states, we can see a lot of monsoons being there, and there will be obviously floods. And Gomti, that district name comes from the river Gomti, which flows through the districts obviously. So in the year 2024 itself, around 1.2 lakhs were affected in the floods, and geographical terrains and monsoons are posing difficulty. cultural and social barriers. There are 19 different tribes, each with different languages and own set of differences also. There is a lack of skill, labor and trained personnel also. And Jan Bhagidari, we have to take care of all the different 19 tribes which has their own languages, own set of cultures and all. Financial inclusion because of the sparse population being distributed everywhere. So this is also one of the challenges, and areas with low connectivity is also one of the tasks. So we have tried to see to the quantitative aspects how we had to try to get 100% saturation in most of the schemes here. As I said, it will be more pictorial. So we have tried for the 100% saturation. We have the involvement of the elected representatives, the PRI institutions and all, using of the digital platform for maximum outreach, and IEC and BCC behavioral campaign, and also we have also tried to strengthen the institutions, PRI institutions, with the award that we have got, Nanaji Deshmukh award we have got in 2024 from Ministry of Panchayati Raj. And we have this Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra, so obviously we had this Pratigura Association of the district also. We actually had clubbed them together. We had done a lot of camps so that the maximum outreach can be happening for the different implementation strategies for the different schemes. And we have our own district vision 2047 for the different schemes. It was actually launched from the district, and we actually had different meetings on regular basis so that we can follow up with the different line departments and PRIs and other stakeholders also. So regarding qualitative aspects, we wanted to see that the quality of the different schemes being implemented are good. In this respect, so there is a feedback mechanism. We have this QR code generated by the district, so we will be pasting that QR code in different GPBC offices in a different Anganwadi center. So anyone having any complaint, that doesn't need to go anywhere. You just have to scan that particular QR code and put up your complaint. That will be reaching to the district collector here. So and recognition through GI tagging in the year 2024, we from the district itself we have got two different products being GI tagged because of we had been looking into the quality aspect obviously, and auditing being done, periodical review meeting and inspections was also done, as seen in the pictures also. So regular field visits and grievance redressal mechanisms are there. Civigram, CM helpline, Amar Sarkar of the state government is there. Clean and green office obviously, and digital infrastructure usages was one thing. Sudden, it was an app being created for the officials, the officers and the staffs, so that it actually give a reminder regarding different works we are putting into our mobile and all. Suppose by tomorrow we have to do this task, by in another 7 days we have to do this task. So this is an app being created by the district itself and shared with all the officials and staffs of the districts and the blocks. So regarding the clean and green office, we actually had tried on World Environment Day, we had planted 1 lakh trees in 5 minutes in the district. Behavioral changes, we actually had tried to incorporate this in all the institutions, including the hospitals also. For the Kayakalp category also, from our district hospital, they had secured a first position in the state. So these behavioral changes in Anganwadi centers and other places, bio toilets. So regarding the innovative aspects, the main things like the panchayats are the main building block institutions. So we actually had focused on the model, the panchayats to be created as a model. So we had tried to give them the maximum facilities so that a sense of ownership comes to the Gram Pradhan and other members here. So solar power panchayats, safe drinking water facilities in all the panchayats and all, and striving for the ISO certification. We have got 8.5 CR from the Ministry of Panchayati Raj for doing good works in the year 2024. We had used that particular funds for the ISO certification also. And yearly calendar of blocks and panchayats was also there. As you can see, Honorable Governor was there launching the block calendar in one of our blocks here. Model Panchayat, regular Mahila Savas was being done. Online service delivery from the blocks was also being done, and the banks and friendly panchayats was also looked into. Solar and coming to the other parts, model Anganwadis. So we had the solar powered Anganwadis with CCTV systems in our districts. Many of the a maximum chunk of the Anganwadi centers were tried to do safe drinking water and steps for providing electricity connection in the Anganwadi centers. Basically, there is no electricity connection in the Anganwadi center. So using the funds that we have received from the Minister of Panchayati Raj, we had taken this initiative for providing electricity connection in all the Anganwadi centers, and child-friendly furniture was being taken for all the Anganwadi centers in the district. Other initiatives includes the recognition of the employees on a regular basis. Suppose there is World Environment Day, there is this SBM thing and all. So wherever possible, if there are any particular occasions, so we used to highlight and give recognition to the employees, including the GRS, RPM, executive engineers, BDOs, SDMs, and everyone. And innovative JJM projects we actually undertook in the district also. This is the highlights of the visit done by the ministry's sport assessment team. success stories. In 2023, we got the Bhumi Samman that award from Honorable President. In 2024, we have got this Nanaji Deshmukh award. We have got 8.5 CR. And 2025, we had been awarded by Honorable Chief Minister, sir. And here, visit of the Ministry of RD. And here from the DARPG on Civil Services Day. Then we have tried to keep the success tales here of all the different line departments, blocks and all, so that if we can actually have it disseminated for information and IC purposes also. As I said, it was more pictorial, so that it can, I can have, it may not be bored and it can get maximum attention. So that's all from my end, sir. I hope I'm within time frame. And thanks to DARPG GOI and JNK government for giving us the opportunity to highlight the different initiatives undertaken by the district. Thank you.
Thank you, Kanti ji. And he managed to speak a series of innovations in 8 minutes. So I think that is also a particular good feature about the leadership, that they can manage the time and resources well. So coming from Tripura and in a place where he did not mention one thing, where around 27 tribes were seated on 27 different hills. So that is the issues which civil servants handle when they are working in the field. So amongst all those challenges, I should again thank all our speakers and our moderator, ma'am. She has been so kind of since morning. And so thank you. We'll close this session now. Thank you everyone for the audience also. You have been a wonderful audience. Thanks a lot.
Guiding session with an excellent context setting for the conference. I would like to thank all the officers on the dais for their valuable contribution, initiatives, and inspiring work. Before we conclude this session, we would like to felicitate the chair and the PM awardee officers on the dais. And for this felicitation, I request the Director General IMPART, Madam Rehana Batulji, to kindly come and felicitate the chair and the Prime Minister awardees. First of all, I would request Madam to felicitate Shri Puneet Yadav ji with a memento, please. With a round of applause from the audience, please. Shri V. Prasanna Venkatesh, Secretary, Andhra Pradesh. Please felicitate Srimati Varali Deka, Director, Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Shri V. Kirti Vasan, Collector of Kuruput District. Srimati Ayushi Sudan, Deputy Commissioner Samba. And Shri Tarit Kanti Chatma ji. So with this, we close the session here, and for tea break of 15 minutes, and after that we'll be just proceeding ahead with the inaugural of this training program. And I request all the officers to kindly join after 15 minutes, quickly after the tea break. That is, that's been lined up outside on this hall. So thank you very much.
कौन वाला है एम वाला ना ना नीचे आओ शो मोर अकाउंट शेयर कौन सा नहीं नहीं ये नहीं नीचे ऐड करना पड़ेगा कॉन्फ्रेंस सीधा कॉन्फ्रेंस डॉट मटेरियल्स में इंपा कॉन्फ्रेंस INPA conference dot materials. चादर ब्लैंकेट टी बड़ा लैपटॉप इधर रख लो ना क्यों परेशान इसको अब उस फोल्डर उसी के अंदर फोल्डर बनाओ आफ्टरनून कुछ करके आफ्टरनून आफ्टर लंच या आफ्टरनून कर लो
ये इसी में डालेंगे आप क्योंकि वो हमने उसमें डाला ना
हाँ नहीं इसमें फोल्डर में